Hello, Vapian here again with a short video demonstrating the care, feeding, and use of the Cartomizerfillinator / Cartomizercleaninator version 2. And whether you saw the original video on how to make one or someone else watched it and made one for you, there's a lot of detail left out of that particular video on the differences between the two different sizes that were made, how you actually use it for filling. So I really hope to clear that up here with some short demonstrations and explanations of everything. Let's get on with it. Oh, shut up, robot. You're worse than my dog. Filling with the Cartomizerfillinator. If you use the build video, or if you happen to get these through Pay It Forward, Treasure Chest, on ECF, however you got them, there's two sizes of Cartomizerfillinator, 9mm and 10mm. We're going to take advantage of the inside and outside diameters of this tubing and the fact that it tends to grip things pretty well to fit a large number of cartomizers. The basic premise for all of these is about the same. Have the cartomizer, in this case it's an 808, same size as a 510 diameter wise, and you're going to fit it into a syringe adapter and connect that syringe adapter, of course, to a syringe. And using this alone, you can fill by simply dipping the end of the cartomizer into your liquid and drawing on and expelling liquid using the syringe. Lure lock syringe is definitely recommended. That's the type that has the tip with a collar around it that's threaded. Locks that adapter on there so the adapter itself can't pop off. Now when you're filling or cleaning, if you push too hard on this plunger, you can pop the cartomizer right out of that syringe adapter. I've done it. It's kind of fun as long as they're not full, but that's not really the purpose of this. As I said before, just by putting the cartomizer in the syringe adapter on the syringe, you can fill. If for some reason you don't want to dip the end of that cartomizer right into your liquid, that's what these tube adapters are for. Take the 9mm one for a 510 or 808, stick it on the other end, and that gives you about 2.5 or 3 inches of reach that you can use to get into a bottle or vial of liquid. The same principles apply for connecting to just about any other type of cartomizer. This is an 808, or sorry, a 510 clear cartomizer. One thing to note is that almost all clear cartomizers that I've been able to find are slightly larger in diameter than the ones that have metal bodies. So this is a little bit over 9mm. It still fits inside this 9mm syringe adapter though, and works exactly the same way. So that's pretty easy. When you start stepping up into larger cartomizers like this stainless steel 510 dual coil Mega XL cartomizer, it's 10mm. Now it will actually fit in this 9mm syringe adapter. You can see it flare out a little bit there. Eventually that's going to stretch this out to where it's not going to work so well with your standard size cartomizers anymore. So I recommend using the 10mm syringe adapters and tubing for cartomizers that they will fit and provide a liquid tight seal on. When you get into the clear version of that, again, polycarbonate body, it's larger. It's also grippier, so it tends to stick to the vinyl a bit more. You really kind of have to work on that one, but it will fit inside the 10mm adapters, both the syringe and the tube. Go-Go cartomizer, same thing. Treat it just like you do an 808 or a 510, it's just bigger. Oddball ones, like the Echo E. These potentially present a challenge, but fortunately the Cartomizerfillinator is up to meeting it. It's got a narrow end on the mouthpiece side and a wide end on the battery side. What I normally do is take the 9mm syringe adapter, put it on the mouthpiece side, take the 10mm tube adapter, and use your fingers and thumb to work that to the inside of the Echo E battery connector. That is tight enough to provide an air and liquid tight seal, so you can use this for filling and cleaning. Or you can reverse it. If you want to flush the other way for some reason, you can put the syringe adapter 10mm on the battery side and then use the 9mm tube adapter on the mouthpiece side. Either one works. Then there's the bad boy. This is the Ego Mega Dual Coil XL Giganto Elephantomizer. It's a big ass cartomizer is what it is. About 15 millimeters in diameter, as I recall. And what I found is that the 10 millimeter tubing will just fit inside that and actually grips the inside of that polycarbonate enough to provide a liquid tight seal. On the mouthpiece side, the 10 millimeter fits in there. On the battery side, the 9 millimeter can be worked in there just like we did with the Echo E cartomizer. So regardless of which way you want to flush, if you have the full kit of 9 and 10 millimeter syringe and tube adapters, you can fit at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different types of cartomizers. A couple of them very big, very odd sized. I'm going to use a clear cartomizer right now to demonstrate filling. So this will be using just the 9 millimeter syringe and tube adapters. One thing I will point out, if you do use this tube adapter, it's got about 3 milliliters of internal volume. When you factor in the internal volume of your cartomizer, which could be anywhere from 1 to 3 milliliters, that could be anywhere from 4 to 6 milliliters of volume that your syringe has to be able to move. I recommend using a syringe that's at least 10 milliliters in capacity, or 10 cc. Personally, I use 20s, 30s, and 60s for my day-to-day stuff. Now, using this bottle of liquid, which you may have seen in other videos. By the way, the liquid in here is actually a mixture of about 15 different types of liquids that I just sort of dumped in here when I only had a little bit left. Do not vape this at home or any place else. It is absolutely nasty. Just use it for demonstrations. Put the cartomizer in there just enough to where you can draw some liquid through, and you can see that pretty much fully saturated the cartomizer with one pull. It may take 1, 2, or 3. I've used several different types of clear cartomizers, and the most it's taken is 3 draws to completely saturate it. Now, if for some reason you did not want to dip the end of your cartomizer directly into your liquid, or you couldn't because the mouth wasn't wide enough, stick the tube adapter on there, stick that tube into your liquid, and draw through. Now you can see that tube is full of liquid right now. That's why your syringe has to be able to move enough volume to fill the tube and the cartomizer and a little bit of the end of the syringe with some liquid. If you have a much larger or longer tube, that means you're going to need a lot more liquid in order to fill your cartomizer. Keep that in mind if you're trying to make one for yourself, or perhaps buying one that's being sold out there. They don't necessarily tell you how much liquid you need to get started. With mine, you can fill just about any cartomizer with about 6 to 10 milliliters of liquid. If you have at least that, you should be able to fill a cartomizer pretty easily. Okay, the last couple of things to talk about with respect to this. You'll see that there's some liquid on the inside of this tube. There was some on the outside before I wiped it off. There's a little bit on the inside of the syringe adapter and in the syringe itself. If you're using this method, you're going to have a little bit of cleanup. Just a fact of the method. You're getting more surface area covered with liquid. It needs to be cleaned. You can do that with water. You can do it with alcohol. Doesn't really matter. Either one will get the liquid out of here. If you're going to do this, I recommend filling multiple cartomizers at once. Get all of your cleanup out of the way one time instead of 10 or 20 times. Last thing to point out is the cartomizer itself. When you first take it off of the syringe after filling, it's actually oversaturated. If you blow into this, you'll get liquid out the end, or if you take a draw on it, especially while that's heated, you're going to get some liquid in your mouth. So there's a couple of ways to take care of that. Obviously, one way is to just put one end in a paper towel and blow through it. Honestly, that may be the more effective way. And if you're using a clear cartomizer, when you're getting a mottled appearance on the outside of that, that's when your fill is perfect for vaping. You can see a little bit of your fill and see some of the liquid winding its way around in there. But if it's completely solid in the color of your liquid, it's oversaturated. You probably want to either blow it out into a paper towel, or the other alternative is to put it back into the syringe adapter and blow the excess out into your bottle of liquid. When you do that, I recommend putting the mouthpiece end of the cartomizer into the syringe adapter rather than putting the battery end in. Reason for that is that the pressure from the syringe going into the cartomizer pressurizes the cartomizer somewhat. If the mouthpiece end is facing away from the syringe, that pressure could actually blow your fill material out of the cartomizer, especially if you're really cranking on it. So put the mouthpiece end into the syringe adapter and point the battery end into your bottle of liquid. Give it a few pumps. It makes an awful farting, squirting, gurgling noise, so I'm not going to do it for you on video. But do that a few times. That will get the bulk of the liquid out and give you a readily vapable cartomizer.